All right, y'all. So we have a listener letter. It's pretty long, right? So I shortened it, but if we need to get into it to get additional details, if y'all need it, we can. But I'm just gonna put, is this the long one or the short one? There we go. Let's do the short one.
I
If
think I
y'all
kind of,
need additional, huh?
I think I might have skimmed it, but I ain't getting into it.
I need my Inspector Gadget glass for this shit. Let me zoom in.
All right, y'all. So she says, I'm a new mom and I've been going through it in my relationship lately. My fiance and I are in our late 20s and we recently went through a massive life transition. We moved out of our parents' home for the first time, moved in together during my third trimester, and his job pressure cranked all the way up. Okay, you got a lot going on, a lot of responsibility, all of that. She says, we used to be best friends who could stay up all night talking about life, full of energy. But lately, he seems mentally checked out, constantly tired, and seems even disoriented. Now that we are a few months postpartum, he's cut back on drinking and is showing up for me and the baby, but I can still tell something is off. I feel like this might be my fault. Did I push us into a serious phase that he wasn't ready for? He says he just needs time to rest and decompress, literally just time to do nothing, and then goes on to say it's so hard for me to rest. He tries to help so I won't be the default parent, but I usually decline his help. I have that strong woman mentality where I feel like I have to do it all. I know it's stupid, but it's my reality. Am I wrong for feeling like I caused his shift in energy? How do I support him in a healthy way without taking on blame that isn't mine? And how do we move forward to find peace and balance?
Huh.
Shit. I mean, my God, on today, you made a bunch of decisions.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, so wait, can I get this straight? They moved out of their parents' house, they're engaged,
Hmm.
and they have a baby.
Yes. And I believe during her pregnancy, he was working super hard. You know, his job, he ended up having more work to do, more responsibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now that he's had the child, I guess he's still stressing from work because it doesn't seem like work has changed. And when you add a child into that
He probably
mix and
hates
the
his job.
possibly
I wasn't gonna say that.
what you was gonna
I
say.
was gonna, and I might be putting a lot of assumptions on it. But the fact that she said, "Can you put the letter back up?" It was something she said specifically.
Hmm.
She said something about my fault. She said she can't help but think that, oh, I feel like this might be my fault. Did I push us into a serious phase that he wasn't ready for? And even though she's not giving us more context on the state of the relationship before they moved out of their parents' house, like I'm gonna just tell you that it might, it's not your fault, but the pressure that you probably applied or something that you was ready for, he wasn't ready for. I'm gonna just say based off the fact that one, you was living with your parents. Y'all was engaged and living with y'all's parents. And now he has to be a family man. And I think that as a man, he's probably too prideful to tell you that he can't really, he not feeling like he can provide. And her questioning if it was her fault, I think she might have just been eager. I think when I saw the email, she said that they met in their early 20s.
Hmm.
And the reason why I say that is because part of my thinking when I was in my early 20s was to get into a relationship. I got into a relationship. I was in a long term relationship. My life was stable. I never lived with my parents or anything like that. But I always felt like the next step was like, okay, well, since we got our shit together, we can let's do this. Let's get married. Let's have a baby. Let's do blah blah blah.
Hmm.
Without really thoroughly assessing what my life needed to be like or like what foundation needed to be built. It kind of was just like, well, the relationship is here, we get along. And I think her questioning isn't my fault. She's wondering why he acting like this now because individually she might have been ready, but I don't know if this is the person or either he's just going through something he can't communicate it. But it don't sound
Mm,
like I'm gonna
I,
be an asshole. It don't sound like it's gonna last. I'm gonna say that.
no, it doesn't.
It's not gonna last. It sounds like y'all jumped the gun on something that he's too scared to talk to you about.
Also, I feel like her not letting him help her with the baby is a part of the problem. Like, what do you mean? Like, you're not letting him help you because you want to be a woman and do it all. Like, and you know it sounds
She don't
dumb. Then
trust him.
stop it.
She don't trust him.
Exactly. And that's what I was thinking.
That's why.
If you don't trust him with your baby, that kind of says a lot. And I feel like if you're not having a conversation with him, like, hey, what is going on? Do you need to go talk to somebody? Like, do I have to worry about you? And, you know, I know people don't want to say that they hate the job thing, but sometimes people hate their jobs and they feel like they have to keep them because they have a family. So then they feel trapped and they feel like, damn,
Trapped. Yes.
feel trapped.
I think that's how he feels.
Yeah.
I think so too. I also have a different thought on that. And it may be that she doesn't trust him with the child, but I feel like because she carries so much guilt for how she's pressured him to move the relationship forward, I feel like for her, she feels guilty having him work hard, don't like your job, then you got to come home and deal with the child too. Don't worry about it. I got it. That's her also being the strong Black woman and feeling guilty as well. So let me not add that stress onto you. I'll just deal with the child. But it could also be connected to what y'all said as well. All of that could very well be a part of it. And she does mention in the original message that she just felt like that was the flow of the relationship, right? We like each other. We're spending all this time together. We're in a relationship. Okay, the next thing is to get engaged. We're about to have a baby. Yeah. And I think I can't put it all on you. I don't think all of it is your fault because I feel like as a man, he also makes these decisions that he also went along with.
For sure.
And it's not your fault that he was not vocal. And I don't even know if, you created a space to where he can't be. It just seems like he bottles a lot in. Just as much as you're showing up like the strong Black woman, he probably feeling like he's showing up as a strong Black man. And I'm going to take on this, take on that, take on this, take on that, and realizing that he can't. It's a lot. It's a lot. You probably got all this responsibility with work, but work ain't really paying you like that. And I don't know if she said she had a job, so you could be a house mom and you got your kid and, and he doing everything. Like, I mean, it's a lot going on, girl. I don't know.
This is why we be telling y'all not to be rushing into shit because everybody underestimates what happens on the other side of it. They underestimate the pressure of taking care of other people, especially a woman and a baby. For dudes, especially once y'all get into situations where it's marriage or people having babies and they actually want to be there is this stress of, oh my God, I have to take care of these two people. I don't even know how to take care of my fucking self for real.
And sometimes it's not. That's the other thing too. So like, I understand where she's coming from partially, but that's a whole nother video. I ain't gonna go deep into that. But I was just gonna say, like, for me, a lot of times I feel like the perception is people think that once you have a baby, the relationship ends because you had the baby. But that's not what it is. It's the fact that like things are exposed when you realize you have to take care of something else. And sometimes, a lot of times, those things have nothing to do directly with the child. Mm-hmm. Like, especially if he decides to have a kid with you, maybe he's a great dad, but other things are exposed. Like maybe he didn't realize, even though, I mean, y'all are both still pretty young. Maybe he didn't realize the pressure that he was going to have to carry or you were going to have to carry, and you're just better at doing it because you've been used to doing it. So it's not the fact that like the baby is what led there. It's the fact that it exposes things. Like every time you go to the next level, something is exposed. You go from boyfriend to girlfriend, oh, cutesy. You get married, shit's exposed. You have a kid, shit's exposed. You move, you change jobs, shit's exposed. So I think
that the issue was already there and it wasn't resolved. As you're talking, it makes me think of reality TV, right? How they say reality TV doesn't break up people. It's just
already had issues. Yeah.
And I love how Niecy said every level is something new. Yes. But yeah, that's a lot. Like having a new child, like her, that's a lot of responsibility on top of the responsibility that he got to have working at somebody's job and having to show up. And ain't no telling what kind of code switching or anything he doing while he's at the job. That wears and tears on you. Yes. Then gotta come home like I don't even know how to tell you the support because he ain't gonna open up no way.
It work. That's the point. That's the thing, Jamie. Like they could make it work if they had a real moment and came to some sort of alignment in knowing that this is going to be a challenging point in their relationship. Because I don't necessarily think that like one person or the other is at fault. this is just a part of those things where some couples are like, oh yeah, it was challenging, but y'all really gonna have to work together and communicate. So it's all about how he shows up to the occasion. Like, is he gonna bottle everything in, and then at some point you're gonna get tired. At some point you're gonna get tired of being the default parent and giving him a break. So you're gonna have to be vulnerable as well. So I
Yes.
think they just need to have a real conversation.
And
And
she has to stop carrying guilt behind any decisions that he makes. It's not your responsibility
That's
to
right.
make sure he's making decisions that he is firm about. He is his own
Yeah.
person. You are your own person. And what the understanding needs to become is that you need help. Take the help. Stop being like you have to relinquish control. Take the help. That's going to be an exercise for you to relinquish control. Okay. And
Yes.
then for him, it's going to be an exercise to step up even when it's hard and you don't really want to do it, but you have to do it anyway. And y'all are going to have to talk to each other like people who can handle shit. Because sometimes
Yeah.
people are scared to have conversations because they're scared of how the other person is going to respond. But if y'all can have like, in a setting where y'all like, listen, we need to have a real honest conversation and we need to have parameters around it, which means whatever we say, the other person has to be able to digest it in a way where you're not blowing up, right?
Mhm.
Facts. It's about
Well,
that communication. That's the biggest thing. If he not gonna open up, you gonna keep hitting the brick wall. But he gonna have to open up, and when he does open up, you just gonna have to create that space to just
Yes.
listen, give a little bit
And
of grace,
heavy on what
and he
Bobby
has
said.
to do the same. But
Heavy
y'all,
on what she said too about relinquishing control.
yeah, absolutely. And y'all did this together, child. You ain't bring that baby in by yourself. So the fact that
Right.
he is taking on all that responsibility at work and then want to turn around and do what he is supposed to do as a daddy and take on the responsibility of that child, let him.
And
Let him.
also don't degrade what you've done because listen, we as women in this world right now, I think we have low standards because some of the shit that I've heard women say on TikTok about what they men do for them. Okay. I've heard some women say, I don't even really take care of the baby the first 6 months after coming out of the hospital. He's primarily responsible for the baby, and I'm responsible for taking care of me and then feeding the baby when I wake up out of a slumber. And besides that, he's feeding the baby the other times. Like there are women out there whose husbands are working, cleaning up, and taking care of that damn baby until she heals. We just have low standards. Like,
For sure.
Yeah,
I see a comment that says relinquishing control is hard, and I don't feel like it's hard when you got the right person. It just, and if you guys are working towards something better, it shouldn't be that hard. And in my personal, if you find that it's hard, you might be in the wrong spot.
right. They may
You
not
might
be
be in the wrong spot.
trustworthy.
perfectly
Yeah.
said. And that's what I prayed for. I prayed when I was pregnant. I prayed to release control over everything. And I didn't think that was gonna trickle into like my entire everyday life. To the point to when Snow was like 4 or 5 months, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna relinquish all this control. Let's just co-parent. Take it for a couple days, and that's been the best thing I could do. So I think no matter what that looks like, she should relinquish control, and maybe they can work together. Let him take care of the kid, drive to Target, sit in the parking lot for a little bit, do what you got to do.
And like you said, it is that step, right? Because it sounded like you were saying, okay, the first step, you got her for this. So if it has to be steps, then steps. Because, as I'm now thinking about the relinquishing, I mean, it's more about you. It seems more than it's about not trusting that other person. You got trust issues within yourself. So just a little bit,
Yeah, she should.
just step by
I don't
step.
know.
Yeah.
That's life.
I need to talk for sure.
And anything that's hard that you need to change about yourself, it is going to take some time. But it's an exercise. Every time, this is an opportunity for me to relinquish control. Relinquish it. But you have to want to do these things. You have to want for things to actually get better. Because sometimes people just love to stay in the shit that they're in because they're used to it.
True.
Yeah, please don't do that because it's gonna be more than resentment that's gonna come along.
I'm playing.
What you was gonna say, Niecy?
1, 2,
I
3.
said, we had a friend. We ain't cool no more. But she, I'm joking. I did have a friend. We still cool though, so I ain't gonna say nothing.
I
I'm
don't have any
screaming.
friends.
Any more advice?
I let all the hoes go.